Right, we hear these sakhiyan, we see these things on the news and the TV, we read about things in the papers, but then what about us? I know all of us are thinking, what can I do? What difference can I make? So we're just going to have a few minutes on personal responsibility when it comes to Panth. One of the first things I've got to say is, with the Sahibzadeh, some of us have heard these sakhiyan, some of us have heard these stories from when we were very young. Some of us didn't learn these until we were slightly later in our lives. And often we hear the thing said about, well, I've heard this one. I've heard this story already. I know about the Sahibzadeh. I hear it every year. And sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, I've heard it once, I don't need to hear it again. But yeah, every year without fail we'll celebrate our birthdays. Every year without fail we'll remember what happened at Easter. Every year without fail we'll remember what happened at Christmas when we're buying Christmas cards, giving out presents. There are certain things which we remember every year without fail, and yet sometimes when it comes to stories about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Sahibzade, we say, I've heard that one. If we talk about love, if we talk about ashiki, and this is a concept we're going to come back to later as well, love doesn't get old. If one person truly loves another, if we truly love Waheguru, if we truly love Sikhi, that's a love which will never get old. Now, first of all, what that means is that you remember it. And Jagaraj Singh said, we need to learn our history. And it's very true, we need to learn our history. Learning a story once, you may not learn it properly, you may miss a few things. Repetition's key in learning anything. So first of all, you learn your history. But what about the second thing? The second thing is, it allows you to be inspired. And it reminds you to be inspired. The reason we talk about the Sahibzadeh in the month of December is because it's inspirational. We learn about it because when we've come from the outside now, it's freezing cold. Many of us are sitting here, and I'm honest, my fingers are still cold even inside. We're thinking Thandya. And then we think back to the condition that the Sahibzadeh experienced in this month of December, 1704. And when we think about the greatness, when we hear about how they dealt with the difficulties they faced, it not only inspires us, but it teaches us how we can possibly live our lives. So these stories are very important for many reasons, not just because they're our history. So we're talking now about the Vadde Sahibzadeh. And as Jagaraj Singh was saying, these things don't happen in isolation. These things aren't just coincidences, these things don't just happen. There's usually a great long history behind these. And with the Vadde Sahibzadeh, there's a word which I'm going to use called righteousness. Righteousness. The Battle of Chamkaur wasn't just a battle between the Sikhs and the Mughals. It was a battle between Sat and Asat, truth and injustice. It's a battle between righteousness and the forces of Kaljug. And we'll go into these in a bit more detail. But this battle with righteousness, this battle of righteousness, was started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Well, there's a Sakhi. Well, actually, there's a Shabd first, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj talks about what's happening in Kaljug in this era. Maharaj says, Kal Kati, Raje Kasai, Dharma Pankh Kar Udarya. Kal Kati, Kaljug, the age that we're in, this is the knife. The kings are butchers. Dharam, righteousness. Now, if you imagine righteousness as an object, it's grown wings and flown away. That's a beautiful way of describing what's happened. So Maharaj said, this is the state of the world. Righteousness, truth, Dharam was nowhere to be found. And there's a Sakhi of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, where Kaljug himself came to see Guru Nanak Dev Ji in human form. What's a human form? In a form. It was the form of a demon. And Maharaj and Kaljug had a conversation. Pai Mardana Ji was there as well. And initially Kaljug tried to intimidate Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, tried to put fear in Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And when Kaljug realized who Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was, Kaljug actually in its physical form fell at the feet of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and begged for forgiveness. And then Maharaj asked Kaljug, who are you? What are you? What are your forces? Where's your strength? And I'm just going to read out what Kaljug said. Now this is from Bhai Veer Singh's translations of some of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's Sakhiyan. Kaljug said, my greatest warrior is falsehood. Falsehood is the one that carries the flag at the front of my army. Kaljug's worldly attachment is the king of all. My army general is violence and murder. Lust, anger, greed and ego are my warriors and elephants. Jealousy, gossip, slander, robbery, an unfulfilled craving for worldly things are all warriors and chariots. Laziness, gambling, intoxicants and other bad actions are warriors on horseback. Attachment to others, sin of wanton stealing are my foot soldiers. Wherever I make advances with my army, I am victorious. more warriors of falsehood and anger have made me victorious everywhere. These are the characteristics of my reign. So this is how Kal Yuga is saying, this is how I control the world. This is how, and this is why righteousness has ran away, because of, let's look at some of the words Kal Yuga has used to describe its own power. Falsehood, lust, anger, greed, ego, jealousy, gossip, slander, robbery, craving for worldly desires, laziness, gambling, intoxication, attachment, stealing. Now if we look at Sikhi, where does Sikhi steer you away from? Sikhi steers you away from every single quality that Kal Yuga says is important to it. So this is Kal Yuga's army. This is how Kal Yuga is conquering the world. This is how Kal Yuga is establishing a reign of unrighteousness. And then along came Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And there's another shabd here from Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Because where you have the army of Kal Yuga, you have the army of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So if that's Kal Yuga's army, that's the army, those are the forces of Kal Yuga, that's what Kal Yuga brings to the battlefield. What does Guru Nanak Dev Ji bring to the battlefield? In the form of Panchami Pacha Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Now forgive me if I make some mistakes reading this Guru Mukhi. It's from Sanskrit, which is Mengi Bani. Mengi is a word we use to describe Bani that's difficult to read. So again, forgive me up front if I make any mistakes here. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says of the army of the saints, the army of Guru Nanak, the Sena Sad Samuha Sur Ajitang Sanahanang Tan Nimrataha Avadhe Gun Gobind Ramanang Ot Gur Sabd Kar Charamaneh Arurte Asva Rath Naghe Bujante Prab Marghe Bichrate Nirpayang Sutra Sena Tayante Gopal Kirtan hai Jitte Beswa Sansar hai Nanak Vasang Krot Panch Taskar hai. Now, line by line, this is the army that Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought to fight Kal Yuga. Maharaj says, Sena Sad Smuh Sur Ajitang Sanahanang Tan Nimrataha. Maharaj says, the Sena, the army of the Sad, Smuh Sur, they're all Surme. The saints are Surme, the saints are great warriors, Ajitang. They can't be defeated, they're invincible. So the invincible army of saints are great warriors. Sanahanang Tan Nimrataha. What armor do they wear? Humility, Nimrataha. The invincible army of saints, the true warriors, wear armor of humility. This is the armor that the army of Guru Nanak Dev Ji wears to battle against Kal Yuga. The armor of humility. Why the armor of humility? Because when do we feel most dukh? When someone says something about us. कोई साढ़े बारे गाल करदा सानू दुख लगदा करके साढ़े हंकार नू सट लगदी है. So the saints have this nimrata. जो मर्जी कहो. There's no pain. Where there's no pain, why? Because there's an armor there, there's protection, and it's of humility. Maharaj then goes on to say, Avadhe gun gobind ramanang ot gur sabd kar charman hai. So what weapons do they use? What weapons does the army of Guru Nanak Dev Ji wield? Says the weapons they have, Avadhe gun gobind ramanang. Gun gobind ramanang. The meditation, the reputation of the gun, the kirtan of Vaheguru. It's this reputation, the praises of Maharaj Akal Purkh Vaheguru themselves are the weapons that they wield in their hands. Ot gur sabd kar charamana hai. Ot, the Sahara, the shield that they have is the Guru Shabd. And again, if we take that into our lives, Kirtan is the weapon. Praises of Maharaj. Now again, if you look at a warrior, for example, a warrior must train himself with his weapons. A warrior must know and love and almost worship his sword. He's got to become one with his sword. A warrior can't be someone who buys a sword, leaves it at home, and then when it's time for battle, suddenly thinks, oh, I better go pick it up. And the shield is the Shabd. Why is the shield the Shabd? Because whenever we have any dukh in our lives, sometimes we go to our Gwandi, sometimes we go to our friends, what shall I do, what shall I do, I'm suffering, I'm in pain. And we look for them for advice. We look for them for shelter. But you know what? They're in the same position as we are. They're having the same dukh as we are. So the ot, the shield is the Shabd. If we came to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and asked them, Maharaj, protect me. If Maharaj protects us, there's nothing that can harm us. Arurte asva rath nagahe, bujante prabha margahe. The chariots, the horses, the elephants that they ride are walking the Guru's path. These are the vehicles they use to ride into battle. Now last week, those of you who heard Jugraj Singh's Katha, by Jugraj Singh's Katha in Smavik, on the King of Kings, Bhai Sahib was saying, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj isn't just the way to God, they are the path themselves. It's not just showing you the path, they are the path. So in the same way, these saints don't just connect to Maharaj because Maharaj tells them the way to God. Maharaj is the path themselves. And on this path, on this marg, they ride into battle. Bichrate nirpayang satra sena tayante gopal kirtan hai. Maharaj says bichrate nirpayang. Nirpayang, without fear, bichrate, they wander, they walk in. Satra sena, through the enemy's ranks. So without fear, without any fear whatsoever, the army of saints walks through the ranks of the enemy. How? Tayante gopal kirtan hai. They attack the enemy soldiers with the weapon of kirtan. Have we not heard the Pankti? Who hasn't heard the Pankti? Kaljug mein kirtan pradana. In Kaljug, the most pradhan, the highest of all is kirtan. And Maharaj finishes off this shabd, Jitate biswa sansar hai nanak vasam krot panch taskar hai. Maharaj says they conquer the entire world and they overpower their own 5 thieves. So look at the army of Kaljug, the qualities of the army of Kaljug, and look at the quality of the armies of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. There is no battle. Righteousness will always win. If righteousness goes to battle, if the soldiers go to the battle under the flag of Guru Nanak Dev Ji with these qualities. So the battle of righteousness comes to Anandpur Sahib. And Maharaj, Guru Gobind Singh Ji finishes their first battle, they're victorious in the first battle, and when they get home, they have the great news that a son's been born in their family. And having just won his first battle, Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj says, name him Ajit. Ajit, the one who cannot be conquered. The one who cannot be conquered is the name of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's oldest son. And this was 1686. 4 years later, Baba Jujhar Singh Ji was born, 1690. And all this is before Vaisakhi and the first Amrit Didat was blessed. From a very young age, you can imagine the Sahibzade being trained up by Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and his generals. We're going to have to jump forward to the sad days of 1704, which Bhai Jagrat Singh has already shared with you. Anandpur Sahib da Qila is surrounded, and after a great battle, many long days, nights, weeks of fighting, the Mughals break their vows. The Mughals break their vows on the Quran, and the local Hill Raja break their vows on, they made a cow out of atta. Maharaj knew he was going to be betrayed, and he demonstrated that to the Khalsa by sending out some baggages in carts. The carts were attacked. But nonetheless, this is Maharaj's Pana. This is the way, this is all to play out. This is the Bachitta Natak. This is the great game that Vaheguru sent Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj down onto earth to play out. So Maharaj leaves Anandpur Sahib. Now Maharaj leaves Anandpur Sahib, and at the front, he sends Bhai Daya Singh Ji and Bhai Taram Singh Ji. 2 of the first Panch Pyare. And with them, he sends his Mahal, his wives, and he sends his mother, Mata Gujari Ji, and the Chote Sahibzade. The Chote Sahibzade on the same horse as Mata Gujari Ji. Then Maharaj follows with the Singhs, and at the very back, he sends Baba Ajit Singh Ji and Baba Uday Singh, Bhai Uday Singh. Now you might think, why has Maharaj kept his sons at the back? The rear guard is where the reaction is. If you're leaving a site, the battle fights at the back. The battle rages at the back. Now you have Bhai Uday Singh and Baba Ajit Singh Ji. And in history, if we had time to go for the detail, we'll talk about how these 2 Surume, these 2 warriors, were almost kind of arguing with each other, saying, I want to fight the rear guard, you go, let me fight. I'll hold back the Mughal army while you go with the rest of the Singhs. And in the end, the Seva came to Bhai Uday Singh. And Bhai Uday Singh laid his weapons on the ground, made his stance that this is where I stand. And again, this isn't a film, this isn't choreography, this isn't a great script that someone's written in Hollywood, and we're going to have 3D animation and all the rest of this stuff going on. This is reality, guys. This is where Bhai Uday Singh had the whole Mughal forge trying to get a Guru Gobind Singh Ji and their family, because they wanted to get rid of Maharaj off the face of the earth, just annihilate every Singh they could get their hands on. And this is Bhai Uday Singh standing, this is where I stand. No one will pass a foot beyond my body while I'm alive. This is the Singh of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. And Bhai Uday Singh's history again is great in his own right. But Maharaj and the family and the Singhs that is left living in Anandpur Sahib get to the Kinare of Sarsa, get to the bank of Sarsa. Bhai Inderjeet Singh's fighting, Bhai Inderjeet Singh gets Shaheedi against the Mughals while holding them back. We're now at the edge of Sarsa River. And again, I know most of you in your minds now, you're thinking, what would it have been like on this dark night where it's raining heavily? On this dark night where it's raining heavily and the Sarsa River is flooded. I know many of you are imagining yourself standing on the bank of that river, looking into it. Behind you are the Mughal forces attacking heavily. Every second is a second lost as they gain ground. Ahead of you, the flooded, fast-flowing Sarsa River. You have horses, you're wearing armor, you have weaponry. Maharaj not only has his Singhs and his family there, he has a khajana, he has a treasure trove of Gurbani, of teachings, of the poets of his court, the 52 poets in his court. He's got their writings, which are largely lost to us now. Why? Because these are swallowed up by the river. Of the Singhs that left Anandpur Sahib with Maharaj, 40 managed to cross the river with Guru Gobind Singh Ji themselves. Maharaj's male separated, and we all know, as you've heard, Mataji and the Chote Sahibzade separated in a third direction. This was the last time the whole family of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was collectively together in one place on the edge of the river of Sarsa. So Maharaj crosses this river. On the banks of the Sarsa, while they're waiting to cross, Amrit Vela ho gaya. And in Amrit Vela, Maharaj turns to the Singhs and goes, Singho, Amrit Vela ho gaya. Saaj kaddo. Get your instruments out. It's Asa Diwar time. And Maharaj sat down themselves and themselves did kirtan while Bhai Inderjeet Singh and Baba Ajit Singh had the hukum to keep the Mughals back while Asa Diwar kirtan happened. And Maharaj themselves did kirtan. Because Maharaj, with every single one of their actions, teaches us something. Whenever, is there ever going to be a time in our lives when we face such calamity? Are we ever going to be in such danger in our lives as Guru Gobind Singh Ji and the Singhs were then? They've got a flooded river on one side, the whole Mughal army on the other side, bullets, arrows, everything going around, and Maharaj is in the middle saying, we're not going to miss our Nityanem, we're going to do Asa Diwar Kirtan because that's what we say we do. Maharaj, Guru Nanak Dev has given us a hukum. How many of us Amritaris make the excuse about Nityanem, about the Simran, or the Asa Diwar Kirtan, or listening to Katha, or learning about Asakhiyan, or learning Gurmukhi, learning Santya? How many excuses do we make? So Maharaj is now at this Kachi Gari, and the Singhs go inside. It's only 40 of them and Maharaj. And going inside this Gadi, it's evening time now. And the Singhs with Maharaj, there's something special here. Because these aren't people who are hanging around, these aren't people on Tankahana, these aren't people on pay. These are true lovers. These are men who know the end is near. And yet they have faith in the Guru to stand with the Guru. Wherever the Guru says walk, they will walk. Where the Guru says sit down, they will sit down. Whatever the Guru says, they will do. And in this Chamkordi Gari, what happens when they get inside? Maharaj says, first things first, it's time for Rera Sahib. After doing Rera Sahib, Maharaj did Benti to the Singhs. He goes, Singho, Sare Ram Karo. Everyone lie down, get some rest. We've had weeks of this battle. The last night's been just treacherous. Betrayed. We've lost our beloved brothers in the river. Some have been shaheed on the battlefield. Get some rest, get some sleep. Because Maharaj Antarjami, Maharaj knows what's going to happen in the morning. Maharaj knows exactly what's going to happen in the morning. And he wants his Singhs to get some rest. But what do the Singhs do? The Singhs go, Maharaj, no. The Singhs go, Maharaj, Benti, yeah, you get some rest. And what the Singhs did, they got all their kapade, right? And they made an asana for Maharaj. They poured it all on the floor for Guru Sahib. Again, these are Singhs who haven't slept for days. They're tired, they're stripping wet, haven't eaten. And yet they go, Maharaj, let's create a space for Maharaj to sit down. Maharaj, tushi Ram karo. And Maharaj says, no, sleep. And this conversation's happening. And then two Singhs come, Madham Singh and Kotan Singh. And these two Singhs said, Maharaj, tell you what, you rest, tell all the Singhs to rest, and we'll sleep, we'll do guard, bear the duty. And Maharaj themselves then stood up and did hukum to the two Singhs. Okay, no, I am standing Pera tonight. And the Singhs are shocked to go, Maharaj, you're a Guru. How can you stand? And what Pera means is duty. Looking over the Singhs, make sure the army doesn't attack overnight. And Maharaj says, it's my seva tonight. As a Guru, I'm telling you, Aram karo. Now Maharaj, as the father of these 40 Singhs, knows what the morning is going to bring. And Maharaj tells the Singhs to rest. And the Singhs rest wherever they can. The saddles from the horses, they get the hazuriye, they get the kamar kasa, wherever they can, make small pillows, and they go to sleep. And Maharaj is sitting there. And on this night, you can imagine how these things are going to sleep. Put yourselves in their position, what would you be thinking? What would you be thinking? Where are you in this half-baked house, tiny little house? You know full well the Mughal army is going to be there by the morning. There's only 40 of you. Is there any life beyond the next day? And yet the Singhs, you know what the Singhs would have been saying? The Singhs would have been saying shabds like, Je sukh dehe ta tujhe aradi, dukh bhi tujhe te aaye. Je pukh dehe ta ite hi rajan, dukh vich sukh manaye. Tan man kaat kaat sab arpi, which agni aap jalai. If you give me sukh, I'll meditate on you. If you give me dukh, I'll still meditate on you. If you give me hunger, I'm still with you. And sukh and dukh are the same. I'm going to meditate on you the same regardless of what's what. Tanaman kaat kaat sabarpi. I will get my mind, I will get my body, I will cut into pieces and give it and burn it in fire for you. This is the Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj sitting there. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. Tu hi, ek tu hi, tu hi. Praising Maharaj. Now, the Singhs eventually go to sleep. And what does Guru Gobind Singh Ji do? We all know, Maharaj says, oh, Bhai Gurdas Singh writes, Vaha Vaha Gobind Singh Ape Gur Chella. We know Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj first gave Amrit to the Panj Pyare and then got his knees to be baptized and given Amrit by them as well. So when the Singhs are asleep, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj becomes a Sikh. He's always a Sikh, but when their Singhs fall asleep, Maharaj becomes a Sikh, because what does he do? He goes around and he starts massaging their hands. He starts going around rubbing their legs while they're asleep, because he knows, Mere put, my sons are tired. Thakke. Maharaj knows kalu unhone shaheediyan pauniyan. Tomorrow they will give their lives for this battle of righteousness. So tonight Maharaj serves his Sikhs, Maharaj serves his Khalsa brothers. Maharaj as a Sikh, Maharaj as a Khalsa served his Singhs on the last night of their lives. And what ardas would Maharaj have been doing, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj? Mera mujh mein kich nahi, jo kish hai so tera, tera tujhko sompte, kya lage mera. Maharaj says, Mera mujh mein kich nahi. Me and mine is nothing. I have nothing. Mera mujh mein kich nahi. What do I have? Jo kish hai so tera. Whatever I have is yours. You have given me everything that I have, so what is mine? Tera tujhto sompte, kya lage mera. So if I give you yours back to you, if I sacrifice what's yours back to you, what does it mean to me? What Maharaj means and what that shabd means in this context, the sons Baba Jeet Singh and Baba Jujar Singh were given by Vaheguru to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. The Khalsa Fauj, the Singhs that Ud Maharaj, were given to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj by Akal Purkh himself. These Singhs, these Sahibzadeh, these clothes, these palaces, these jewels, these armory, these weapons all belong to Vaheguru. So what happens, what matter if they sacrifice to him again? The morning comes, Amrit Vela, Maharaj goes around waking up all the Singhs one by one. Softly, gently waking them up, and they do Amrit Vela together, all the Singhs. Sahibzadeh and the 40 Singhs. Kirtan in the morning. Again, look at the simplicity, look at the beauty of this. Surrounded on all four sides by the Mughal army, and the Singhs in the middle doing the Nityanem. The battle starts. And the tactic Maharaj and the Singhs use is to send 5 Singhs out at a time. 5 Singhs are going to go through the doorway, jumping over the walls, whichever means, get out there and fight the Mughals to the death. Now, the first thing that happens is the Mughals think it's only a small house. It's only a very, very small house. There can't be many Singhs inside. What we'll do, we'll put a ladder against the wall and we'll just climb in. Now, it's funny how our enemies always try and rely on a ladder. Because this man, and the first guy who came in was a guy called Nar Khan. He climbed up the ladder. Maharaj Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the greatest archer the world has seen, was waiting for him. As Nar Khan's head came up, and as Nar Khan's two eyes settled on Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Maharaj pulled back his bow and sent an arrow flashing through the air straight in the middle of Nar Khan's forehead, right there. That's the last thing Nar Khan saw, was the arrow of Maharaj flashing towards his face. Then the next Mughal general came, Ghani Khan. He climbed up this ladder as well, thinking maybe Nar Khan was unfortunate. Maharaj Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj there, other side, the Maharaj, the master of all types of weapons. Maharaj this time took a mace and crushed the head of Nar Khan, dropping him to the ground. This is how the battle of Chamkaur Sahib started. And when the battle starts, 5 Singhs at a time go through. And at a time, the 5 Singhs run into battle. Again, imagine the scene. Imagine the scene where you're surrounded on all 4 sides by the Mughal army. Now sometimes when we look at our history, we imagine our Singhs are big, great, big, stocking guys, massive muscles, very powerful. We have to remember by this time, they'd been through a siege. They hadn't eaten for days, weeks. They haven't slept for a long time. They're physically tired, drained, hungry. On the other side, you have a well-fed, well-trained army. These are guys who train for a living. They've done this for years. So let's not put the Mughal army or disrespect them in the fact that they weren't warriors. They were warriors. The Mughals had one of the biggest empires the world's ever seen. They were warriors. They were soldiers. And when they looked at the Singhs, they thought, Sukkedeya, what are these Sukkade Singhs going to do against us Pathans, against us Mughals? This is the Sochni, this is the fort of the army. Yet that very quickly disappeared when the Singhs came into battle. Lalkar ke. What lalkar means challenging the Mughals. Who wants to fight us? Who wants to fight us one-on-one? There were arrows, there were spears, there were weapons you could use from a distance. But the Singhs are running into battle saying, who wants to fight us? Do you have the strength to fight me? This is the courage, the passion of the Singhs who've been blessed with Amrit by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And 5 at a time they run into battle, not creep in, not walk in, not go through the gates thinking kithe fas again, run into battle, charge into the enemy. And 5 at a time they get shaheed, martyred. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, their father, sitting there proudly watching them. After 2 free jath had been in, Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji comes to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Says, Maharaj, surely by now it's my turn. Surely by now it's my turn. Maharaj hugs Baba Inderjeet Singh. The Panch Pyare who were still alive at this point, 3 of the Panch Pyare were shaheed. The only Panch Pyare to survive this battle were Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Bhai Dharam Singh Ji. The Panch Pyare are shocked. The Singhs are shocked. The Singhs are just in benti to Maharaj. Maharaj, leave with your 2 sons. Then jane tusi nikal jao itthon. Please leave. And Maharaj said no. Maharaj said no. And Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji, same time, says, Maharaj, it's my turn. And Maharaj says, Inderjeet Singh, if you're going out, don't come back. If you're going out, the only direction your feet should be stepping is forwards. If you go out this door, ek pair tera mar ke nahi hona chahiye. Muh tera udhar nu hona chahiye. Shati teri moor nu honi chahiye. And Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji reassured his father by saying, my name is Ajit. I cannot be beaten. And if I'm beaten, I will not be beaten alive. This is the reassurances an 18-year-old Ajit Singh, Baba Inderjeet Singh gives his father. And Maharaj hugs his son. And Maharaj is still a father at this point. He's the Guru. He knows he's come here to play at the Bachitra Natak, the great drama. He knows he's come here. He knows everything belongs to Vaheguru, but he's still a father. And the Singhs around, tears in their eyes. This is the Baba Inderjeet Singh that they've seen grow up from a young boy, going out to show death. And when Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji goes out, again, maybe it's my own mind, but I can just imagine the Jakara. The Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji would have shouted. I can just imagine the looks on the face of the Mughals as the oldest son of Guru Gobind Singh Ji comes out to face him. And we know that Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji, when they went out, first they used all of their arrows. As many arrows as they had, they used them in the battle. They then took out a spear and they fought with the spear and they killed many with their spear. Eventually the spear broke in an Afghan, I believe it was. The spear itself, the shaft broke, and all they were left was the wooden stick in their hands. Throwing that on the floor, Baba Ajit Singh Ji then pulled out his talwar, his teg, and with their sword they carried on fighting. And eventually the sword also shattered into two pieces. It is at this point that Baba Ajit Singh Ji was surrounded from all sides and attacked. Not by one man, not by two, by countless. Arrows, spears, swords hacked into Baba Ajit Singh Ji's body. And Maharaj says to Bhai Daya Singh Ji next to him, has my Ajit Singh finally been hacked to pieces? Tell me that he's been hacked to pieces. And when Bhai Daya Singh Ji says, yes, Maharaj has jikare, khushiyan de jikare. Okay, my son has made me proud. Who alive, which father alive stands and watches his son be hacked to pieces and then says to us saying for reassurance, are you sure he's been hacked to pieces? And then does jikare and khushi. Straight away, Baba Jujhar Singh Ji comes, says, Maharaj, my turn. My brother Shaheed, I want to join him. Send me now. And Maharaj, what Maharaj is going to say? Maharaj is this point the proudest father in the earth. And Maharaj gives him a shastra, takes out one of his own Kamarkas shastra, gives it to Baba Jujhar Singh. And I was listening to some katha, different katha on the Chamkor Sakha, and one of the things Gyani Pindrapal said, which again is in a Ityasik Granth, he said Maharaj made a condition to Baba Jujhar Singh. He goes, ask you for one thing. If you're going out to this battle, ask you for one thing and one thing only. Maharaj dasso. He says, when your chest is finally pierced with arrows and spears, turn around so I can see them. He goes, when your chest is bristling with arrows, when your chest has been torn apart by the spears and the swords of the enemy, turn around so I can see your wounds. Show me those glorious wounds on your chest. And Baba Jujhar Singh Ji says Sat Bachan. And Maharaj climbs to the top of the smoke guddy. And Maharaj shoots arrows to cover Baba Jujhar Singh Ji as he goes out. Baba Jujhar Singh gets to where Baba Ajit Singh Ji Shaheed. And Maharaj Guru Gobind Singh Ji can see the body, Baba Ajit Singh Ji hacked into pieces. And you can see Baba Jujhar Singh walking past it, fighting past it. And when finally Baba Jujhar Singh Ji's weapons also break from continued use, his body is hit by arrows from all angles. He turns around and looks at his father. And Pita Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj again does khushiyan de jikare. 40 Singhs, best part of 40 Singh Shaheed. In the end, Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Bhai Taram Singh Ji, and other Singhs who were left at the very end, did a benti to Maharaj. Okay, Maharaj, you need to leave the killa. Leave the guri. It wasn't even a killa. And Maharaj initially said no. But then this is the same Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj who in their wisdom, who in their long-sightedness had transferred power to the Khalsa, to Panj Pyare. Ki Panj Pyare da Raj hoga, Panj Pyare da Hukam hoga. And when the Hukam came, the Gurmata came. And again, whether we use the word Benti or a Hukam, each to our own. And when the time came for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj to leave, there's a beautiful thing which needs to be considered. And again, I can't say whether Maharaj said it or not, but poetically it's beautiful. So Maharaj said, I first sent my father to his death, to his martyrdom, and his head came back. Today I'm the father that sent his two sons, and I see their heads on the floor outside. I'm that son that sent his father. I'm that father that sent his sons. What a beautiful thought of the sacrifice that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj made for the battle of righteousness, for Dharam. And Bhai Sangat Singh was selected by Guru Maharaj and the Singhs. The shakal, the image matched Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's. And Bhai Sangat Singh remained behind. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Bhai Daya Singh, Bhai Taram Singh, and Bhai Man Singh left the killa, the guri. And when Maharaj left, he didn't leave in the middle of the night. He didn't leave at the back door. Maharaj clapped his lads' hands as loud as he could. And he says, the King of India, the Peer of Hind is leaving. Stop me if you can. And when Maharaj left, we hear Sakhiyan, how Maharaj removed his jore, he removed his shoes because he didn't want to step on the case of his things. We hear Sakhiyan about how Bhai Daya Singh Ji was walking with Maharaj and went by Daya Singh Ji, and Maharaj accidentally felt something on their feet. They looked down. It was a lash, the remains of Baba Ajit Singh Ji. And Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Pyara Daya Singh Ji says, Maharaj, let me take a bit of my cloth. Let me take a bit of my kamar kasa. Let me take a bit of my dastar, whatever I have. Let me put a cuff and let me put a piece of cloth of the body of what remains of Baba Ajit Singh. Let me just do these final rites for him. And Maharaj said, if you have enough cloth for Baba Ajit Singh, if you want to do it for Baba Ajit Singh Ji, there's 40 of my sons out there. Let no one ever say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj differentiated between his Khalsa and his own sons. There was no fark. They were one and the same. Maharaj left the battle of Chamkaur Sahib. Maharaj ended up in the Mashiwar jungle, sleeping with a rock for a pillow, his feet bleeding, his clothes ripped. The only possession in his hands is his teg. The only other possession perhaps which survived the battle of Chamkaur Sahib, which would then appear later in history, is a badawa written. Maharaj kept in his kamar kasa. We're not getting into that story now, but this happened to remain with Maharaj when he forgave the Singhs Charlie Mukta later. But in this jungle, in this Mashiwar jungle, Maharaj talks about Mitra Pyare nu hal marida da kehna. Sons shaheed, wives lost, mother lost, father shaheed when he was a son, when he was a young boy himself. And who comes to find him? The free Singhs. I want to finish with this one last bit now, before saying just a few short words about Bhai Gurbakh Singh. When Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Bhai Taram Singh Ji, Bhai Man Singh, when they came upon Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and they saw the state of Maharaj and they matateked and they went up to Maharaj, what did Guru Gobind Singh Ji do? Guru Gobind Singh Ji took each of them one at a time in his arms, hugged them and sat them next to him. Mere pot aa gaye. Ajit and Jujara lying in the battleground that was Chamkaur Sahib, and yet his free sons are sitting with him here. Who says Guru Gobind Singh Ji sees his Khalsa and his sons any different? Who dare say that? And Sangat Ji, today we have the man of saying, we are the sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Again, Benti, I'm going to say this to myself rather than the Sangat, because you are the Sangat, you are the holy ones. I can say it whilst I've taken the Amrit, but deep down in my heart, am I equal to Baba Ajit Singh? Am I equal to the Panj Pyare, to the 40 Singhs who fought on that day? Am I equal, am I capable of calling myself part of the army of Guru Arjan Dev Ji? The Sadhu Sena, with the armour of humility, their bias of Shabd, their weapons of Kirtan. Am I capable of that? It's a question which I must ask myself. And this brings us on to Guru Bakh Singh and what's happening in India today. 36 days of hunger. And 36 days, what have we been asking? We've been telling people, the enemy, if you like, the very same people that arrested our Singhs, tortured our Singhs, killed our Singhs, to release them. We're saying, Dushman badale. Our enemy must change what they do. Our enemy must change how they act, and rightfully so. Because justice is justice, rightfully so. But what about us? If we want our enemy to change after seeing the pain of a Singh who has gone hungry for 36 days, what about his brothers? What will it take for us to change? If we want 36 days of hunger and pain to influence the minds of those who arrested those Singhs in the first place, Guru Bakh Singh has been in prison himself. We want these people to change their minds, change their worldview, do the right thing by the Sikhs. And yet what about us? What will it take to inspire us to do the right thing? What will it take us? What will it take to inspire us to start doing Nitnem? After 36 days of hunger, of seeing a man fighting for righteousness. For who? For Singhs in prison. Why are they there? Because they fought for righteousness. The Singhs he once freed, like Bhai Lal Singh, who's released on parole today, they are in prison because they fought for righteousness. They fought for Dharma. When are we going to be inspired by these 36 days? We ask ourselves, what can we do? What can we do? We can be inspired. We say, I am Guru Bakh Singh. I've heard a lot of people saying that. And it's great because it gives people that feeling of involvement. It gives people that feeling that, well, I'm part of this movement, I'm part of this revolution. But to say you are Gurboxing is a big thing to say. To say you are Gurboxing is to say you are the son of the Guru who has that commitment, that dedication to starve himself for 36 days. That commitment to say to Maharaj, okay, Maharaj, either it's your pana, and if your hukam is to release these 6 things, then that's brilliant, otherwise I will die hungry. Have we got that commitment in our lives? What's given him the strength? You've heard him on TV saying the strength comes from Gurbani. It's because of your Ardasa and your Gurbani Sangat Ji that I am still alive today. What did he say the other day? He said, if the Sangat from abroad rings me and I hear stories about how Sangat has kept their case, if you ring me and tell me these stories, I will live for 2 days longer. Meri umar 2 din hor bad jogi. Ye tusi apne case rakh lo. 36 days and we expect our enemies to change. 36 days, when will we be inspired to make our change when it's our brother going hungry? Be it Simran Panjament Hor, be it keeping our case, be it learning Nitram, being it do whatever it means to do, whether it means learning your history, whether it means learning about our Shaheeds, learning about the movement. When will we make a change? After 40 days of hunger? After 45 days, 50 days, once he's Shaheed? The enemy may or may not change. You know, there's that saying, that phrase, it's not the words of your enemy that hurt, it's those that your friends say behind your back. It's when your friends betray that hurts the most. We have our Singh, we have our brother right now here, doing his part for the battle for righteousness, for justice. If he does this, he gives you Shaheedi. And he's ote bethe rahe. I ask the question again, what will it take to inspire us? These are questions which I know I and all of you Sangat Ji will be asking ourselves all the time anyway. And again, these are questions which I'm asking myself. I'm not asking you, I'm asking myself, because you all will have thought about this and you all will have made changes in your lives already. Whether it's because you're doing chope sabs for the pant. Sant Kartar Singh Ji used to say this all the time, कि बेनती है कि सारे नु के रोज एक chope sab pant दी चढ़दी कला वास्ते करियो. There's Singhs who stood by that, there's Sangat who stood by that and do that every day. We need to change as well. The legacy of the Sahibzade isn't just they had an amazing battle. The legacy is they followed the hukam of their Guru. The legacy is that when it came to standing up to righteousness, no matter what it took, they did the right thing. Themselves stepped forwards, always forwards, never backwards. And if we fall on this path of righteousness, if we fall, the Guru will pick us up. We don't need to worry about that. Sometimes we worry, what happens if I can't fulfill it? What happens if I can't carry it through? What happens if I can't do this? Well, who are you to worry? When a little baby starts walking, who does it rely on? It relies on the father or the mother. We're the children of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and we say we're the kids of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. We should have no worries about falling down because our Guru will pick us up, our father will pick us up. All we have to do is try. All we have to do is take one step forwards and watch the Guru take thousands or hundreds of thousands towards us. So again, in this month of December, this month of sacrifices, this month of Qurbani, we remembered the Chote Sahibzade. We remembered Mata Gujari Ji, her lifetime of seva and sacrifice for the Panth. We remembered the Vade Sahibzade. We remembered the 40 Singhs that fell in Chamkaur Sahib. We remembered the Singhs that Shaheed at Anandpur Sahib. And again, we now currently remember Bhai Inderjeet Singh and feel his pain as he struggles for righteousness and for justice for those who have served their life sentences and still been kept behind bars. I want to finish with one very last Sakhi, one last memory for this month. And after that, then Bhai Inderjeet Singh Ji in the very Khalsa Jatha will bless us with Kirtan. After the Battle of Chamkaur Sahib finished, there was one person for whom it wasn't over. Bibi Sharan Kaur, a 16-year-old young girl. When she found out the day after about the battle, she took Agya from her mother, found out how to do the final saskar in Sikhi, ki saskar kidna karida. Taking that information, she went to the battle site of Chamkaur Sahib. Overnight, she gathered the bodies, with the remainders of the bodies. And again, I say remainders because Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj describes the battlefield of Chamkaur Sahib with heads and arms looking like balls and sticks. Being the battlefield is covered in balls and sticks. So Bibi Sharan Kaur going around trying to identify a head because of the star and the kanga, just identifying arms because the kare, just identifying bodies and torsos because the kashera. And she builds a pyre and she lights it. Doing the final Kirtan Swela, final rites for the Shaheed. And this is her doing her part. The Mughals saw the flames, came to Bibi Sharan Kaur. Short battle ensued, and in the end Bibi Sharan Kaur was thrown alive onto the funeral pyre as well, where she burnt to death. The final Shaheed of Jamkor di Jang was a young 16-year-old girl called Bibi Sharan Kaur in this month of December 1704. So Benti, don't let these stories just be stories. Let's not moan and groan, I've heard that one before. These stories educate us, these stories inspire us, these stories tell us how to live our life. These are the stories of the army of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. These are the stories of the warriors of righteousness. These are the stories of the men and women who will fight against Kaljug. These are stories of the men and women who, with their glory, with their light, we also will be saved. So Benti, please take whatever small steps we can, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. We just got to take one small step towards the Guru and watch the steps Maharaj takes us back towards us. And if we fall and if we flounder and if we fail, Ardas is there. Panj Pyare are there to pick us up and put us back on that path. Fear not the failure. Fear not getting there at all. Darkness is of two types. Darkness, one of ignorance, where we don't even know Vaheguru exists. And the second type of darkness is one where we're there, but our mind engulfs us anyway. Our mind tells us it's okay not to do this. Fake you here. That's also a type of darkness. So again, Benti, please, all of us, let's do what we can to help the Panth, to help our own Jivan, and to become one with Vaheguru. I've sure I've done beyond galtiyan. As Sad Sangat, as older brothers and sisters, and also as my youngers as well, please do forgive me and give me samat. I may also build a Jivan, do some naam kamai and get closer to Maharaj. बोलते हुए अनेक प्रकार दी गलतियां हो गई होण जी, आप जी साध संगत जी ने माफ़ कर लेना। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।